It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 19th day of February 2022. Coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia, Central Virginia area. And as always, welcome aboard. A few things to discuss this morning, but not a whole lot. Actually, folks, today is National Chocolate Mint Day. I kind of like that. I'm not a big candy guy. I've said that before a lot of times, but the chocolate mint kind of things, I tend to like that if I'm going to do anything candy wise. So go out and find some chocolate mint today to celebrate. All right, we got a busy weekend ahead for cruises sailing from North American ports. Up in New York and Manhattan, we've got the Norwegian Getaway in Charleston. We've got Carnival Sunshine and the ACL Independence. Port Canaveral, Carnival Elation, Disney Fantasy, Carnival Mardi Gras, and Norwegian Escape. West Palm Beach, we got Grand Classica. Down in Fort Lauderdale, we got New Amsterdam, Regal Princess, Sky Princess, Celebrity Reflection, Celebrity Apex, Allure of the Seas. From Miami, we got Disney Magic, Symphony of the Seas, Norwegian Joy, the MSC Seashore, Oceania Riviera, Carnival Horizon. From Tampa, we got Brilliance of the Seas, Galveston, Carnival Breeze, and Carnival Vista. And out in Los Angeles, we got the Carnival Panorama from Long Beach and the Majestic Princess from San Pedro. Tomorrow, from Bayonne, we have Anthem of the Seas. Baltimore, we've got Carnival Legend. Jacksonville, the American Queen MV Victory. From Port Canaveral, Harmony of the Seas, Meraviglia, which I'll be on the 13th of March. Carnival Magic. From Port Everglades, that's Fort Lauderdale, of course. Odyssey of the Seas, Rotterdam, Caribbean Princess, Celebrity Edge, Celebrity Equinox. Down in Miami, we got Oasis of the Seas, Carnival Freedom, Norwegian Encore. Tampa, we've got the Norwegian Dawn. New Orleans, Norwegian Breakaway, and the Carnival Glory. Galveston, Liberty of the Seas. And the Carnival Miracle sails from Long Beach, the Norwegian Bliss from San Pedro. So a busy weekend for cruises from North American ports. Today's headlines, our friends over in the UK got hit pretty hard with Storm Eunice. It unleashes record-setting winds, widespread damage across England. Royal Caribbean opts in. Carnival updates masking and opts in. Crystal owes customers $100 million. And a whole lot more here live at 11 o'clock this morning. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net. Or wherever you get podcasts like TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Pandora, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Just search for the Travel and Cruise Industry News and you'll find the old fat travel guy. Since I do tend to post some pictures and clips, if you are listening via the podcast, there's always a link in the description of the podcast, which will take you over on the video side so you can check out some of the pictures and video clips if you would like. So that's always accessible for you. All right, two things this morning before I get to the news. One, of course, our buddy Sharon that we talked to yesterday, she has to leave Sky Princess this morning. She's probably already, I'm sure by now she's already left Sky Princess. So it was good to have Sharon touch base with us. And of course, I screwed it up yesterday totally, but we did get her on for at least a little bit. And this is the other one, folks. The Nanook of the North John. This is up there at his place. Now, if you look in that, to the left side of that picture is a rather blonde wolf. But if you look real faintly over to the right side of the picture that blends in with the trees, that's a second wolf. Only he's much more of the coloration of the trees, the grayish color. Those are a couple wolves up there at Nanook of the North John's place. So I told him, I said, make sure you can keep a hold on Ace, because the wolves would love to get a hold of Ace, and we don't want anything to happen to Ace or any of John's animals. So I'm sure they'll throw beats at the wolves. And I think the wolves are there trying to find the pot. That John grows. He's the pot grower. Well, he's not really, but that's what I call him. Anyway, I'm sure they'll take care of getting rid of the wolves as quickly as possible. All right, I'll be back with a couple news stories, not a whole lot, after this word from one of our network sponsors. And back at it this morning here, folks, with a couple things. One, let me point out a personal item first. I have made a major change this morning. And yes, Nikki, since I talked to you earlier, I have decided to make the change. I have canceled out my flight and hotel to Port Canaveral, or actually to Orlando, for this next cruise. I'm going to drive. I've got a place in Cocoa Beach to stay, a hotel that will park the car for the week that I'm gone. Have shuttle service back and forth to the airport, and all of it cheaper than I would spend just staying in the lot at Raleigh. So I'm going to drive. That way I can stop by Jacksonville on the way down, maybe have lunch with Nikki and Roger. Let Roger come after me with the big stick, because I probably will. But I think that's definitely what I'm going to do. So I've made a change on that one. And I was talking to John about it earlier today, and I'm looking at, that's, even if I take 2 days to get there, which would be, 350 miles a day, it's about 700 miles. Even Miami's only another 245 miles or 250 miles further. And I don't have to get stuffed in a plane again. I was terribly uncomfortable on the flight back from Miami because the flight was full, and a big fat guy like me. Now, yes, admittedly, I had coach seats. I didn't spend the extra money for first class. I learned my lesson. I will start spending the money, But I was terribly uncomfortable. I don't want to do that again. So that's part of the reason. But yeah, so I'm just going to drive to Port Canaveral. Now, man, I'm looking at maybe even driving to Galveston 2 weeks beyond that. We'll see on that one. But anyway, so that's a change in my life coming up. I'm going to drive instead of fly for a lot of these places that are closer. All right, so let's give some bad news from our friends over on the other side of the pond. The 1-2 punch of powerful windstorms has left northern and central Europe reeling. Storms Dudley and Eunice unloaded powerful winds and driving rain from Ireland to central parts of the continent, and impacts from Eunice are expected to last into the weekend. The potent storms made their presence felt on land and sea by ripping the roof apart on a major arena in London, while also causing a frightening scene on a commuter ferry in Hamburg, Germany. Authorities blame Dudley, named Yenya by the German Meteorological Service, for several fatalities in Germany, Poland, says on Dudley. As the Eunice struck Ireland and the UK on Friday, howling winds hit with a vengeance. By midday, a wind gust of 70 miles an hour was reported in the English city of Plymouth, while Mumble's Head, a coastal site in Wales, had a wind gust of 87 miles an hour. Cruise monkeys, I hope you guys are safely tied down over there. The Needles, a landmark attraction on the Isle of Wight in southern England, reported a wind gust of 122 miles an hour yesterday morning, with the UK Met Office primarily confirmed as the highest wind gust ever reported in England. How about that? For comparison, a Category 3 major hurricane in the Atlantic has winds ranging from 111 to 120 miles an hour. Wow. Terrible storm in the UK. Yeah, well, in Europe too. It's not just the UK. So I hope all you guys are safe. Late Friday evening, Royal Caribbean confirmed that they will be opting in to the latest version of the CDC guidelines. Royal will be operating under the parameters established by the program's highly vaccinated category. Royal Caribbean ships would be operating under the new guidelines, beginning with sailings departing the U.S. as of Friday, February 25th. Meanwhile, Carnival, which we already knew was going to opt in, made it official. They also updated their mask policy. Plus, like I said, they made it official that they will opt in to the CDC voluntary COVID program for cruise ships. Effective with cruises departing March the 1st, masks on board Carnival ships will be recommended but not required. However, they may be required in certain venues and areas on each ship. Carnival Cruise Line will continue to meet the standard of vaccinated cruises, but children under 5 years old will not be included in any vaccinated guest calculation, and thus will not be required to receive an exemption to sail. And goodness knows, we're getting tired of hearing about the problems from Crystal Cruises and Genting Hong Kong and that jerk that's still trying to buy one of the ships that they're building. The problems surrounding the demise of Crystal are becoming clearer by the day, and through it all, the financial issues could hit those who book cruises aboard Crystal ships harder than the company had initially forecast. According to the former CEO of Crystal Cruises, Jack Anderson, the company owes more than $100 million in outstanding deposits. This should pose no problem for those who paid by credit card for upcoming cruises. Those with future cruise credits, which are now worthless, and those that paid cash for a cruise, does anybody do that? Will likely never see their money. That, unfortunately, is the case. All right, that's it for the news this morning. Like I say, folks, it was a very, very light news day. Terrible storm in England and Europe. And Royal Caribbean and Carnival opting in. Carnival changing their masking policy a little. And Crystal owing more money than they got. So let's go see who's with us over here in the chat room. Kenneth's here. Hey, Kenneth. How's things out in Hawaii? Carol's with us. Nikki's here. Hi from Palm Bay, Florida, 67 degrees. Oh, that's nice. It's a little cold here. Well, as you can tell, I got a sweatshirt on. I usually don't wear sweatshirts. But yeah, it's cold. There's Sharon. Watching you from the sky on a JetBlue flight. The free Wi-Fi is awesome. Sweet. Well, you have a lovely flight. See, you're skinny enough, Sharon. You can fit in a seat. My big fat butt, I don't fit in on an airplane very well anymore. So I'm going to start driving a lot. Eating a princess almond. All right. The yogurt parfaits are yummy too. Carrie, you're right. Just couldn't put one in carry-on. Yeah, that would be a little difficult. It'd be a little messy. A little messy on that. But then, it's just like Viv working on a jelly. I'll laugh over that. A jelly roll quilt. Viv, the pug, is working on a jelly roll quilt while Sharon's gone. And so I told Viv, the only problem with jelly roll quilts is they get a little messy. So Viv hopes the dog gets the quilt done by the time she gets home because it's cold. And she'll wrap up in the quilt and warm herself up. Hey, Hot Air Tom is here. Hello, everyone. Coming to you from my actual work office in Richmond. You still have an actual office? That's amazing. I'm surprised they haven't canceled you out by now. We had a critter cross the street, Ocean Boulevard in downtown Myrtle Beach on Wednesday night as we were watching to see what type of animal it was. It was a fox. Oh, nice. We have a couple of fox around the farm here that we see once in a great while. Don't see them very often. But once in a great while, one will come up to our compost pile and scrounge around for eats. Got off the ship at 7:30, was on Uber by 7:50, checked my bag, went through security, and had time to eat breakfast before my 10:16 flight. Man, that's pretty good service. Pretty good service. I don't think I've ever tried to do a flight that quick. I've always, my general rule was always shoot for noon. I'd book one at noon, but I don't think I've ever done any earlier than that getting off the ship. Sonny's with us down in Mississippi. Hi, Sonny. Yikes, that's a grueling drive. Just turned the rental car in the same minute went over 1,100 miles. Well, from here to there, 722 miles, I think. Hot Air Tom. That's not grueling. It's grueling going to Galveston, maybe. That's 1,200 miles. And I'm in no hurry. I don't even know I got to look and see what day it is. So I know what shows I'm doing the day before. I'm thinking whatever shows I'm doing, get them done and get them processed and all that stuff. Now have the car loaded, ready to go. Leave after the show, drive 5-6 hours, and stop. And then get up, me, I'm early. Get up early and drive down to meet Nikki and Roger for lunch. I'm sure I can get a Wi-Fi signal at a McDonald's to do the show that day. And then, have lunch with Nikki and Roger, and then drive on down to Cocoa Beach and check in and do the hotel. And shuttle over to the port the next day. I got no problem with doing that. I think it'd be awesome. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Hot Air says sad to see the BMW X3 go away. Yeah, well, that's a nice car for sure. Jacksonville to Port Miami, 330 miles. There you go. So, yeah, so I figured 250 from Port Canaveral. So that's pretty close. I guess it was pretty close there. Great timing getting to your flight, Sonny says. Yep, the drive is nice. If you take 2 to 3 days, both times I got COVID, I'd flown 2 to 7 days prior. Really think cruising safe. Yeah, well, again, I'm not in any rush. So, I mean, easily 2 days. Good heavens. 350 miles a day. I mean, I used to drive a lot, I had years when I was working in sales. This was before the funnel cake business. When I was working in pure hardcore sales up in Pennsylvania, I mean, I had 100,000-mile years driving, and lots of them in a row. So, yeah, I'm not at all worried about it. I'm glad I did this. I just got to finish up the back end of it now. Got the front end taken care of. So I got credits, I got a credit with American and a credit with Frontier. I don't know why Expedia ran me through Frontier on the front end of that. I've never flown Frontier in my life. So now I got a credit with Frontier. Well, I'll be driving my truck. The rental got about 33 miles to the gallon. I don't have a truck anymore, Tom. Got rid of the truck. I have a Subaru Forester now. And it gets, now I'm getting 31 around town. So I haven't had it on the road yet. Katie's with us. Good morning, Katie. Michael's here. Good morning from Costa Rica on the Divina. You're getting to go to some neater ports than I did. That's pretty cool, Michael. Sharon says, I have Clear and that saves time. Without that, I'd be scared bookings on 10 a.m. flight or on disembarkation day. I want to get Clear, but it's not in enough airports that I go through yet, hopefully soon. Do you think Clear is better than pre-TSA clearance? That's a very good question. I've not used Clear either. So I'd like to see the answer to that one. Oh, yeah, Kenneth, yeah, y'all left yesterday. 4.9 C days of being in Sonata Wednesday. That's correct. Yeah, I'm sorry that you have to leave Hawaii. That sucks. Disney has 2 highly vaccinated and 2 not highly vaccinated. Seems like Carnival not counting kids, something Disney didn't think about. Yeah, I saw that and I thought, wow, that's strange, but I can see why they're not. So, Sharon says, Sonny, I have both. So I'm expedited to the front of the TSA pre-check line. Saves a lot of time. Well, I don't need to do that with the wheelchair service. I get expedited to the front of that line anyway. But expediting to get off the ship, that might come in handy at some point in time. I love driving. We meet a lot of people and see a lot of things along the way. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Because I could, especially now that I'm moving more toward accessibility stuff. So, I can do, accessibility issues all the way down and back, places and things and places to stop and all kinds of things. Katie says, I'm about 70 miles from Port Canaveral. Sharon says, I live in Orlando and Virginia. Can't wait for high-speed rail. Katie's in Orlando. Michael, have a great cruise. Kenneth says, can advertise on your vehicle. Yeah, no. I think somebody, one of the telemarketers keeps calling me about that. We want to put an ad on your car. No, you don't. I'm not very nice to them. Excuse me. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. The Cruise Amigos will be here tomorrow. Not sure what we're going to talk about, but we'll come up with something. Probably talk about my cruises, since I was the last one on the boat. Now, Martin's got some stuff coming up too, and we can talk about. And then there's Nanook of the North, John and the Wolves. Got to make sure John takes care of Ace. We don't want no kitty cats running around chasing wolves. That's not a good plan. Of course, at 30 below, it's not a good plan for kitty cats to be outside anyway. So, all right, that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. You guys have a terrific weekend. As always, we appreciate the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. We do this every day, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about all facets of the travel and cruise industry. On Sunday, we've got the Cruise Amigos, and then some Sundays we do a show with Pete and Allison over there in UK on cruises for solos. But anyway, consider joining this channel. Doesn't cost a thing. Helps the channel out a lot. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up. You guys all stay safe, stay healthy, wear your masks. Yeah, I'm still doing it too. At least for now. I think it's going to change soon. But at least for now, stay healthy. Think about cruising. And hopefully, one day soon, we'll all meet on the high seas. This is the old fat travel guy. Have a fabulous weekend. I'll see you tomorrow on Cruise Amigos and back here on Monday for travel and cruise industry news. Have a great weekend, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.